All this time you have been on my mind, and all the reasons why we're still in love. Days go by, flowers they bloom and die, all the while you and I, we're still in love. You make my dreams come alive. You make my whole world alright. You're always there, wanting the best for me. I think it's clear to see we're still in love. My best friend holding my hand again until the very end. We're still in love.
I'm sorry. I'm sitting here muted and not even talking. I'm sorry I'm late. I took my son to work and we had a unexpected snow thing come in, and so we've got like a half an inch of snow out there, and I stopped to Walmart to get some salt, sidewalk salt, and then I salted both driveways. And one of our driveways is like you see my hands are still cold. It's like a 45-degree angle, and the salt pellets is little balls. So when I was going down the driveway, spreading the salt in front of me, it was getting slick as I was going down, and I got in here. I'm sorry I'm late. Anyway, hello, H. Davis. I'm trying to catch my breath from trying to. Anytime I've been sick for the last 3 weeks, and so anything physical exertion just takes my breath away for a few minutes. Okay, so I decided I want to talk about Sebastian Rogers. I didn't come in the beginning of the case when he first came up missing in February. I didn't come in until after the Leilani Simon case is when I came into the Edward stop. Is when I came into the Sebastian Rogers case. So that was like what, August, September sometime. It was just before Dog the Bounty Hunter joined the group. And I haven't gotten that far in my investigation. But I wanted to go back to the beginning. And I want to talk about Sebastian Rogers so that I can learn more about the case. So first thing we need to do is a fair use disclaimer. Everything is for learning purposes only, and I'm not trying to profit off of anybody else's hard work. And then this one says everything is, I'm going to have to open it up so I can see it. Excuse me. It says everything in this video is based on opinions and interpretations of facts as we know them. Nothing is true unless we can back it with facts. Nothing is meant to be used as an accusation against anyone. The thoughts and opinions of people in the chat are not necessarily the same as the host. Please be kind and do not harass any member of the chat or the host. Let's make this a friendly and informative platform to come and enjoy learning about what's happening away from our computers, smartphones, and television. And I need to edit that because we are not town members anymore. I forgot what I'm calling us now that we are sleuth thrifters or something. I don't know what it is. Whatever. Anyway. So I want to talk about Sebastian Rogers. Let me drop this off of here. And then I tried to go all the way back to February 26th, but I wasn't able to find anything really. Let me see. I wasn't able to really find anything until I've got salt on my hands. It's unfortunate. So the first thing I was able to find was when the Amber Alert was issued in Hendersonville, Tennessee. Let me turn on a little bit of music just in case something here. Yeah, we're locker sleuths. Okay. Just in case something is video. Turn this down so that it's not overpowering whatever we're doing. And then we'll go back to comments here. And then I'm going to do a share screen. And here we are with the Amber Alert. The Amber Alert issued for missing Hendersonville teen in Middle Tennessee. Sebastian Wayne Rogers, 15, was last seen in the area of Stafford Court in Hendersonville on February 26th. They issued an Amber Alert. It was published at 5:01 p.m. on February 27th. Hendersonville, Tennessee, an Amber Alert has been issued for missing 15-year-old Sebastian Wayne Rogers. Let's click that link and see where it takes us. If it takes us anywhere. Oh, that's to their Facebook post. Okay. So there is the Amber Alert for Sebastian Rogers. He was 15 when he went missing. He was about 5'5", weighed about 120 pounds, sandy brown hair, brown eyes, very handsome young man. So we're gonna go back off of that. Did I mess myself up? All right. Oops. What did I do? Okay. Okay, according to Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, Rogers was last seen in the area of Stafford Court in Hendersonville. He's listed as around 5.5 foot tall, weighed about 120 pounds, with brownish hair and brown eyes. He was last seen wearing black sweatpants. We know they have a white stripe down the side, and a black sweatshirt, and his glasses. An endangered child alert was sent out on the same day Rogers went missing on behalf of the Sumner County Sheriff's Office. Residents who live near the search area around Beach High School along Beach Hollow Pike may want to check buildings, garages, cars, and under decks in case Sebastian uses any of these as hiding places. From what I understand, Beach High School was about 4 to 6 blocks from their home. Now, I'm not saying he couldn't have gone there. He very well could have gone there. But I'd be more apt to look in the neighbor's garage or shed or storage building closer to home than 4 to 6 blocks away. Why would he go that far away to hide in a building? Okay, at this point, I am going to try to be like this is day one and I know nothing. I'm going to try to block out what I've seen on social media prior to this. It says, if you have any information regarding Rogers, contact Sumner County Emergency Commission Center at 615-451-3838. You can also contact Detective Carter at 615-442-1865. Now, is Detective Carter the one that passed away shortly after Sebastian went missing? I'm not sure. Also suggest them to call 1-800-TBI-FIND. Okay? Okay, I see nothing else on this page, so we'll get done with that page. And you'll come back to seeing me. On March the 1st, on March the 1st, they had bloodhounds out. This one I don't think has any sound. But she's standing there talking. They're having a conversation. The dog is not taking her anywhere. What's the deal with it? Did the dogs get a scent anywhere? Did they actually find a scent of Sebastian? This dog is not going anywhere. I'm still confused about it. I'm with you, April T. Hello. Thank you for being here. Hello. April T says, I'm still confused about the dogs. If I go with what I've seen since I came in April T says, apparently there was not scent dogs for Sebastian's scent. Okay, I did see one report where a lady from the military, the dog handler, come in, and she said they had scent dogs which would pick up any scent that was near the front door of the house and follow that scent. It did not have to be Sebastian's scent. So that much I did learn. And then they didn't have actual blood, the kind that would track specifically Sebastian's scent. going on. And there it goes. There it goes. Okay. So from what I understand, there was like 5 or 6 different kinds of dogs there. And from what I understand, none of the dogs actually did find a scent of Sebastian. But I'm hoping, I mean, it's a little late now, but a year later to send out dogs to try to catch Sebastian's scent. But it would be nice if it could happen. So, okay. So the next one we want to share is from March the 3rd. It says search continues for Tennessee teenager days after Amber Alert is issued. This is an archive article, and the information in the article may be outdated. Of course it's outdated because we've gone back to the beginning to start over, because I want to learn. And I'm not in the loop of people that bounces ideas off of each other to be able to know what's going on and what people are learning. So I'm having to do it all ghosts. I'm having to learn it all by myself, pretty much. Okay, so on Fox 59, which all the links are in my description for these channels. Hendersonville, Tennessee, WKRN. Hundreds are continuing to search for 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers nearly a week after he was reporting missing from his Tennessee home. An endangered child alert was issued last week for the teenager who was last seen on Monday, February 26th. Okay, now my question about that one. Okay, so his mother put him to bed about 10 o'clock, 9 to 10 o'clock that night on Sunday night, the 25th. Then she went to bed around midnight-ish after falling asleep on the couch. Then when she woke up at 6 o'clock the next morning, she couldn't find Sebastian. So how was Sebastian seen physically by anybody February 26th? How was he seen? If she was in bed asleep by midnight and he was in bed asleep by 10 o'clock, 9, 10 o'clock, how could anybody have seen him that morning unless they're talking about whoever came and took him out of the home? Okay, now that's possible. But if that's what they're talking about, then that's what they should say. They shouldn't be trying to mislead us. Okay. So, several agencies have spent nearly a week searching for Sebastian using helicopters, boats, drones, canines, and horses. We were told that his favorite song was Eye of the Tiger. We tried playing that to kind of call him and let him know we're here to help. Deputy Chief Eric Craddock with the Sumner County Sheriff's Department said Tuesday, detailing search efforts at that point. Let's see if there's a video to go with that. There's pictures, but I'm not seeing a video. Okay. So that's the end of that one. All right. And then I broke my fingernail. I hate when that happens. So the next thing I'm going to show is Nick Barnes, where now I heard after the fact that he leaked this information, that it wasn't supposed to get out. But I wonder how that could be when he works in a news station and he's got higher ups above him that's supposed to be approving his content before it goes out, how could he leak something that he has to have approval from his higher superiors, however that word's supposed to be said, before it goes out? So anyway, let's look to see what Nick Barris says about this. But I do know that it's not going to be what I think I'm going to hear, because we already know that for a fact. Disappeared. Video shows 2 people with flashlights near his home. Okay, let's see what this says. Now, the link to News Channel 5 is in the description.
The most important thing for me is for them to feel like I'm their friend.
I'm
on their side
commercial
to
here.
help them achieve their dream of having a brand new smile. Procedure called All on 4 is the major focus of our practice, where you have patient come in with their bad teeth. We could replace their whole mouth of teeth in one day.
I couldn't be more thrilled. And Dr. Park, what he wants to do is make sure that I'm happy.
I would highly recommend same-day smiles to anybody.
Okay.
We begin with a surprising development in the search for 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers, who's been missing for 18 days. An exclusive look at new video evidence. Thanks for joining us here at 6. I'm Rory Johnson.
And I'm Hunter Hoagland. A lot to get to here tonight. Authorities have scrutinized home security video from that Hendersonville neighborhood, trying to learn what happened to that teen with autism.
Now you can take a look for yourself. Our Nick Barris obtained video that appears to show 2 people near Sebastian's home the night his parents say he disappeared.
The video you're about to see is from early Monday morning, February 26th, around 3:10 a.m. Now, there are no street lights in the Stafford Court neighborhood, so it is at night, pitch black. What you will see here are these 2 points of light believed to be people with flashlights in the area around Sebastian Rogers' Hendersonville home. It is believed Sebastian left his home barefoot and with a flashlight sometime overnight. Since his disappearance, authorities have reviewed security video from homes in the neighborhood looking for clues.
We have had several clips that have come in.
And this one is getting the most attention, showing signs of activity around Sebastian's home the night he disappeared. You see 2 light sources, which we've circled to help you follow. For point of reference, the security camera was pointed toward the back of Sebastian's home in a common area. In the video, you see subject 1 with a light source in the lower right-hand corner. Then you see subject 2 briefly appear and move toward the first before that light source is covered or
Okay, from what I understand, these lights right here are they're stationary lights that are on the side of the house above the garage doors. And then these other lights here, and the one that was going across here, I think this one is a stationary light source and a neighbor's sunroom. But this other one, I do not believe is Sebastian, just because I watched the Mob Crew and I know what I've seen from the Mob Crew. Let's go on further with this.
obscured by bushes. Subject 1, a few seconds later, then moves out of frame. Then subject 2 reappears and follows subject 1 off screen. It's a short time
I guess
later,
I was wrong
and it's
about
very
that
vague,
first
but
flashlight.
then you see one of the subjects moving quickly back through the common area, and that is it. I know there's not much to see here. You certainly cannot identify anyone, but those close to the investigation tell me the mere fact.
April T says, has to be something to those flashlights having to do with. I agree. 100% I agree. My theory, without making accusation, my opinion is that Chris Proudfoot came home from Nashville during the time that he was on the phone with Katie the night that Sebastian, on Sunday night. I think he was driving home from Nashville at that time. And the reason his cell phone still said that he was in Nashville is because he was using a burner phone to talk to Katie, so that the call couldn't really be traced. But that it would show that his phone was still active in Memphis at that time. Because if he could do like a 3-way call with his phone in Memphis, it would actually be on the call while he's on the phone with Katie driving from Memphis to Hendersonville. And then Katie was falling asleep, so he told Katie to go to bed. Okay, that makes, telling Katie to go to bed makes a lot of sense to me. But I think Katie and Chris and Chris's parents were there that night. And I think Chris and his parents left with Sebastian, and Katie is the person seen running back to the house. That's my opinion. That's my theory. I pray that I'm wrong. And then April says, you could be right, but that would show her talking to someone, law enforcement. Did law enforcement say they couldn't see her talking on the phone that night? I don't know. I hadn't heard that. That could blow my theory all the way out of the water. H. Davis, welcome back in. April, H. Davis, there you go, there you go. All right, I'm going to drop this off of here, and let's go further with what Nick Barris has to say.
That there is now evidence that someone is in the area around Sebastian's home is significant. This video shows suspicious activity in the immediate area the night Sebastian disappeared. Could one of these subjects have been Sebastian? Did he meet and leave with someone? Sebastian's father says his son would not go with a stranger.
It's up in the air for me because I don't think he would get into a vehicle with somebody unless he knew them.
So what exactly are we seeing here? I know investigators are doing what they can to try enhancing the video for any more clues. For now, this video is now part of the Sebastian Rogers missing person file, and I'm told it could become more significant depending on where the ongoing investigation leads. We'll be following that. Nick Barris, News Channel 5.
Thanks, Nick. Of course, the search for Sebastian continues, with detectives now looking into any possibility of foul play. If you think you can help, call 1-800-TBI-FIND.
All right. So, in my opinion, I do think Chris and Katie Proudfoot and the Bauer Sox had something to do with Sebastian coming up missing. I do. That's just my thought. That's my theory. And I came into the case late, and it may only be my theory because that's what I've heard so many other content creators say as their theory. But I want to learn. I want to try to build my own theory, but the way it sits right now with what I do know or supposedly know, do I really know if I'm getting it from content creators rather than from news sources? And the news sources really aren't saying anything. I don't know. It's up in the air. I can pray that Sebastian comes home safely and soon. Okay, the next thing I want to discuss is the United Cajun Navy. Let's bring this up. Okay, this is a commercial. Let's see what this has to say. It says independent TV.
Stating that I needed to give the stepfather a call. I called.
Hold on.
A phone call and a text message that I received after I got off of work, stating that I needed to give the stepfather a call. I called him and he was like, Sebastian's missing. Don't be upset or anything, but you.
Sebastian's missing. Don't be upset or anything. Your son is missing, but don't be mad at me for it. You need to come to my house. Excuse me?
You need to come to the house. I don't know what happened to him. I haven't seen him in over a month. I've been out here looking for him. It doesn't make a lot of sense. His shoes are still by the front door. His switch was there. His phone was in the kitchen. It just didn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And I still can't figure it out. I've been looking everywhere. Been handing out flyers. Been just trying to keep up hope.
Okay. My heart goes out to Seth. My heart really goes out to Seth. I don't know if I could handle it. A nonprofit organization helping in the search for Sebastian Rogers in Tennessee called off its search on Friday over safety concerns. Now, excuse me, I'm sorry. From what I understand, the United Cajun Navy had come in to help search for Sebastian. I thought I had found video of them coming in and being talked about, but it was just another news source saying this same information. So I don't know what day the Cajun Navy came in, but as of the 27th of March, they were pulling out. Members of the United Cajun Navy reportedly received death threats online and in person, with the group announcing it was regrouping. Meanwhile, the 15-year-old's parents met with law enforcement on Thursday as the search for him nears 5 weeks. To the best of my knowledge, Sebastian's been gone almost a month and a half, and his mother has yet to be on TV saying, "Help me find my son." What is up, woman? What is up with you? If that was my child, I'd be all over the news. The 15-year-old's father said he could not discuss with reporters what the meeting was about, but insisted that he still has hope that his son is out there somewhere. Now, I imagine that when the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation or any state Bureau of Investigation calls you in to discuss your missing child, they may not tell you, they may tell you, please do not discuss today's topic outside of this room because it could hinder the investigation. But I don't think they're going to say don't discuss any topic that has to do with the missing child. That's just my opinion. I don't know if he's been abducted or if he's just over at a friend's house. But I'll know when I find him exactly what has happened to him, according to his father, Seth Rogers, on Fox 17. Authorities revealed on Tuesday that at least 10,000 miles had been logged by those searching for the autistic teenager. Okay, now that upsets me. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm not upset that 10,000 miles have been covered. I'm sorry, I'm really short and it's hard for me to see in my camera. Okay. I'm not upset that 10,000 miles have been covered. 100,000 miles is fine with me. What upsets me is they're saying searching for the autistic teenager. Okay. Let's understand this. Sebastian Rogers went missing February 25th/26th of 2024. Sebastian was diagnosed with autism in August of 2023. So we have August, September, October, November, December, January, February. 7 months. He's 15 years old, and they're treating this child like he has been being treated for autism all of his life. His family is still learning what autism is about. They're still learning how to help Sebastian cope with the rough times. You cannot be told. Now, I'm not a parent of a child with autism. One of my very close friends has a child who is on the autism spectrum, and she has adopted some other children that they are not finished testing to find out if they are on the autism spectrum. But she has been 15 years working with this 17-year-old child who does have autism. I have learned some, not near enough, about autism from her. Anything I want to know, she will explain to me 100%, and she's happy to explain it. This family is 7 months into knowing that the issues and the struggles that their child has been dealing with for all these years, that they are saying is because he's autistic. They're only 7 months into learning what autism is. And I can almost 100% in my heart tell you that the day Sebastian went missing, they stopped learning anything about autism. So it is not fair to Sebastian, in my opinion, to label him as an autistic teenager. He is not any different 7 months after being diagnosed with having autism or being on the autism spectrum. Sorry, I do not know the proper terminology for that. But he is not any different. He is just now, they're just now getting medications adjusted. It takes a while. It's not, you can't just give them a pill and say they don't have autism anymore. I do know that much. But they're acting like this autism is who Sebastian is. The autism is not who Sebastian is. Autism is a diagnosis Sebastian was given 7 months prior to his disappearance. His family was still learning how to deal with the things that were causing him to have problems. Apparently, from what I understand, Sebastian's father, Seth, didn't have near the problems with Sebastian that Chris and Katie had. So, did Sebastian really have autism? Does he? Or is that just something that they threw out in the air to try to get him some more coverage? I'm not going to say. I have not heard it come out of Seth's mouth that Sebastian has autism. And even if he does, they had only learned 7 months prior. So Sebastian is not, labeling Sebastian as an autistic teen, in my opinion, is a disrespect to Sebastian. Stating that his family is learning about a recent diagnosis of autism with Sebastian is respectful to Sebastian. I'm sorry if I upset anybody, but that's how I feel. They should not say autistic teen, because he has not been treated for autism for all of his life. He's just now learning. And once you go on a medication, a mind-altering medication to help you deal with chemical imbalances in your brain, it takes months to be able to understand the different things that you're feeling from this new medication. That's my opinion. That's where it upsets me that they're calling him an autistic teen. I'm sorry. But 7 months does not make a person. He is a 16-year-old young man that has been struggling to find out what was going on. He vanished overnight on February 25th with his mother, Katie Proudfoot, finding his bed empty the next morning. So far, there has been no signs of him. Key point: 15-year-old vanished from his home in Tennessee on the 26th of February. Sebastian's parents have met with law enforcement. Search is called off due to security concerns. Missing Sebastian Rogers' mother believes someone has her son. Of course she does. Of course she does. She knows exactly who has her son. She knows his exact whereabouts. That's why she refuses to speak to anybody. So many people can see right through her lies that they know for a fact that she is guilty. Investigators say they have seen no sign of Sebastian. Lights seen in the driveway were from a trash collector's full feathers. No, they weren't. The lights seen from the trash truck were seen at 5:12 a.m., not 3:10 a.m. It does not take 2 hours for a trash truck to go down one block. Trash trucks will not go in between the backyards of houses unless there is a designated alleyway where the trash cans are supposed to be picked up. And in that neighborhood, there is not a designated alleyway for trash cans. So I call bull feathers on the trash truck lights. One of the big talking points around the night of Sebastian's disappearance have been the appearance of lights on a doorbell camera close to the house, with theories that this was the boy or his abductors leaving. Yes, I agree that is the truth. Mr. Rogers said that this is nonsense and the lights were in fact trash collectors. Okay, the reason Mr. Rogers said that those were from the trash truck is because the video that the TBI showed Seth and Katie was from 5:12 a.m. and it was of the trash trucks. At this point, this day right here that I'm talking about right here, this day right here, when Seth and Katie had been in the law enforcement office and seen that video, they did not know about the other 3 hours ago in the video or 2 hours prior to that video. They were only shown this one little spot, so that's what they believe. Because that's what law enforcement, who are very good friends with Chris Proudfoot, wanted them to believe. That's my theory. I'm entitled to my own theory. Okay, let's see if there's any more. He also said that there are no signs of the 15-year-old boy had been speaking to anyone suspicious on his cell phone and no indication that he was planning to run away. Yeah, because his cell phone didn't even have Wi-Fi connection. He couldn't talk to anybody on it unless they had his phone number. Sebastian's mom has her theory. Oh, let's hear to see what Katie has to say. According to Mr. Dan Gooding, and I'm still on MSN, and the link to their site is in my description. Katie Proudfoot told Crime Stories with Nancy Grace on Monday that she feels someone has her son and that she couldn't understand how the 15-year-old boy could not have been found yet otherwise. Let's see what this link goes to, if it goes to anything. Nancy Grace dives deep into today's where to listen. Okay, let's listen to this. I don't think this has anything to do with the Sebastian Rogers case. Okay, let's click off that. I didn't learn anything there. I feel like if he had been close to the house or had walked off, that we would have found him by now with as many people have been out searching, Ms. Proudfoot told the podcast on Monday. Sebastian's mom and stepfather, Chris Proudfoot, were grilled by Nancy Grace, who asked them to clarify their whereabouts the night Sebastian disappeared in Hendersonville, while also calling on experts to give their own views on the case. Is there a video? Okay. I'm not going to turn the volume on for this. There's a commercial showing. That's what I'm waiting on. It says a top doctor, if you can eat a banana every day, this is what will happen. Okay, let's volume. See if I can share this. Didn't pull it up on my screen.
With felt right.
I'm not going to beat up psychics and things, but we've got to vet what we do before we do it. And anytime the sheriff's office indicates or TBI indicates we've got an area of interest that we need to search, we go. We're ready to go. The house was searched at least 10 times.
Dogs?
Dogs, yep. None of them, to my understanding, were actually on a trail that was following Sebastian.
Have you found evidence of Sebastian yourself when you've been out there?
No.
Imagine decor that does more than just decorate your home. Feel better in your own space with Feltright.
Has Sebastian ever said to you or tried to communicate to you abuse in the home?
No. He's
Wouldn't
on
he?
multiple occasions sit there and has told me he doesn't want to go back. And I've asked him, why don't you want to go back? And he wouldn't tell me. He didn't say why. He was just like, I just don't want to go back. And it's, at that point in time, I'm just like, okay, well, maybe it's the freedom that he gets at my house. And he's a teenager. And now I'm finding out a lot of this stuff. And I wish he had told me.
Imagine decor that does more than just decorate your home. Feel better in your own space with
Out of the normal, something would have had to happen that he just felt that he couldn't deal with anymore. But he's still alive. That's my main hope right now. In order for him to actually do something that's out of the normal, something would have had to happen that he just felt that he couldn't deal with anymore.
Imagine decor that does more than just decorate your home.
I'm just letting
Feel
the
better in your
clip
own
from
space
this
with
news
Feltright
station
acoustic
play.
panels and
Because we're learning
constant
from
roller
something.
coaster ride of helpless and hopeless and many other emotions all in one, and it's a never-ending roller coaster. It doesn't stop. We're on a constant roller coaster ride of helpless and hopeless.
Okay, now if anybody doesn't know, this is the stepfather, Chris Proudfoot, and this is the mother, Katie Proudfoot. So, to my best of my knowledge, this video footage right here was the first time they spoke to anybody public about Sebastian being missing. And if you heard that, let me see. Is there a way I can back up just a second? I'm going to back up 10 seconds. Okay. Chris Proudfoot's going to say it's helpless and hopeless. Can I smack this man? Please. Oh my gosh. Let's listen.
Helpless and hopeless and many other emotions all in one, and it's a never-ending roller coaster. It doesn't stop. We're on a constant roller coaster ride of helpless and hopeless and many other emotions all in one, and it's a never-ending roller coaster. It doesn't stop.
Helpless and hopeless. Get your butt out there and look for that child and you won't be helpless.
Imagine decor that does more than just decorate your home.
TBI
Feel better in your own space with Feltright.
Has there been any indication at this point of foul play or anything of that nature?
There is no evidence to support foul play is involved in the disappearance of Sebastian.
You mentioned, you were asked about recent evidence. We've heard some rumors that there seems to have some validity, that there was glasses found within the past few days. Can you confirm that?
There were some glasses found in the past few days.
Or have you been able to identify that they were Sebastian's?
We are still investigating.
People at school, they liked him. All the kids are wanting to know when he's going to come back. They want to help and volunteer. Teachers are they're putting out prayers every day. Everybody, it's coming up. It's Easter. I'm hoping for an Easter miracle. I can definitely use it in my life right now. I got a phone call and a text message that
If you happen to follow, allegedly, in my opinion, with Brittany J, she just posted something on her community post. I can't read all of it on my watch, but if you want to go over there and check out what Brittany has to say, she always has something important to say. Even though she doesn't listen to me, she has something important to say. I hope law enforcement has more evidence than we know about. I'm sure they do, and I think, in my opinion, they are being paid off by the Proudfoots and the Bowersops not to leak that information. That's my opinion.
I received after I got off of work, stating that I needed to give the stepfather a call. I called him and he was like, Sebastian's missing, don't be upset or anything, but you need to come to the house. I don't know what happened to him. I haven't seen him in over a month. I've been out here looking for him. It doesn't make a lot of sense. His shoes are still by the front door. His switch was there. His phone was in the kitchen. It just didn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And I still can't figure it out. I've been looking everywhere, been handing out flyers, been just trying to keep up hope.
Many people have made much of the fact that when interviewed, the Proudfoots do not look at the camera, they look away, they don't cry, and they don't seem upset. Now, that may or may not mean anything. People can be very upset, crying, screaming, cursing. They may show no emotion at all. They may be numb by the time interviews are happening. I'm very different. When I talk about my fiance's murder or I talk about my dad's death, I still cry, even when I swear I'm not going to. But everyone reacts differently. I'm going to throw this directly to Mr. and Mrs. Proudfoot. Much has been made. I'll ask you. You very often look away, don't look at who's asking you questions, show no emotion. Much has been made of that, and I'd like to hear your response. I'm not judging one way or the other.
I have often wondered that myself. I'm glad she's asking this.
I'd like to hear your response.
So the fact of not looking at the camera all the time is because a picture of my son is sitting beside me, and I'm looking at him. As far as the crying thing, I have been crying off and on nonstop for a month.
She's not answering the question. Not in my opinion.
Feel like I'm carrying the world and all of a sudden I got somebody standing behind me, helping me hold that up. I am asking the world to help me find my son. I need my son back. Feel like I'm carrying the world and all of a sudden I got somebody standing behind me, helping me hold that up. I am asking the world to help me find my son. I need my son back.
Okay, this is going to something else now. So we're going to stop with that one and we'll come back to the one that we had that we were reading from prior. Okay. Seth Rogers is hoping for an Easter miracle. We saw that. Search called off due to death threat issues. The United Cajun Navy ends their search for Sebastian Rogers after death threats. Let's see what this has to say. Okay, we already watched that video. That's where they were talking to Seth about the Cajun Navy. Search is called off due to security concerns. A group of organized searchers for Sebastian says it's called off an event today. The United Cajun Navy cited increasing security concerns as the reason for suspending the activities on Friday. This decision was not taken lightly. It's made with the safety of all volunteers in mind, the group said in a Facebook post. We want to thank all the volunteers that plan to be out searching today. Sebastian's parents met with law enforcement. We saw that little short video. As the search rumbles on Sebastian's father, Seth Rogers, mother Katie Proudfoot and stepfather Chris Proudfoot all meet with the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation on Thursday. That's where Seth told us that he can't repeat what they said. Mr. Rogers told a local reporter that he could not share what was discussed, but that he came away from the meeting feeling positive. "Oh, I always have hope. Can't take that away from me," Mr. Rogers said, adding that he believes his son is playing video games somewhere and has no idea about the ongoing search for him. Watch Sebastian. Watch. Sebastian's mother said she has been crying for over a month. That's what she just said on Nancy Grace. Sebastian's dad says he's hoping for an Easter miracle. We saw that little clip. Okay. Sebastian's mother defends leaving the area after son's disappearance. Katie Proudfoot, mother of missing Sebastian Rogers, has defended her decision to leave the area where her son was last seen shortly after his disappearance. Ms. Proudfoot drove 3 hours away from her home to meet up with her husband and Sebastian's stepfather, Chris Proudfoot. But it says, excuse me, it says was due to having received threatening and hateful messages from strangers. "We are posting flyers every direction we can," she told Fox and Friends on Thursday morning. But at the same time, there were quite a bit of people that were sending some very threatening and hateful messages to us. They're following us. They're driving past our house all hours, days and night, disturbing our neighborhood, and their neighborhood is very upset and concerned. They're worried about their safety at this point. Ms. Proudfoot added that she felt that leaving the neighborhood would help calm things down. Excuse me, hold on just a second. I apologize for that. I'm sorry. Then law enforcement says Sebastian's home has been searched at least 10 times. The story so far: frantic searches, emotional interviews, from the pond being drained to a reward for information and a mother's tearful interview. The search for Sebastian now past the 1 month mark. Here's a rundown of the theory so far. Let me click on that. See what it's gonna. It's another commercial about a banana. I'm waiting for the commercial about the banana to be over with. I apologize for this. I do not have the funds to be able to pay for YouTube to not have commercials. Okay. Okay, that didn't tell us much because we'd already seen it. Okay. A month-long Amber Alert, Thursday, the 28th of March. Mike Bebastain. It's a month since the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation posted this to its X account, announcing that an Amber Alert had been issued for Sebastian Rogers. Okay, here's the Amber Alert. Here's the missing teen, which is Sebastian Rogers. It is one of only 2 active alerts nationwide, which is baloney. There's over hundreds of missing children out there, with the others being for missing Wisconsin 3-year-old Elijah View, who has also not been seen for a month. Third of autistic kids who wonder are trying to escape stressful situations. Thursday, March 28th, Mike Bebastain, an autism expert, has explained that Sebastian's special needs would likely be affecting him greatly. Okay, this again, had he been diagnosed with autism as a young child and been being treated for the last 12, 10, even 5 years as being on the autism spectrum, I could see it being a problem for him not having medication right now. But he has only been diagnosed 7 months prior to his going missing. He doesn't know any difference from having autism to what it feels like when his medication's working properly, and he doesn't feel like he has autism. He doesn't know yet. Speaking to Nancy Grace, Courtney Lasky from the Little Stars Therapy said that children typically have difficulties with communications and social skills. Okay, little stars, which means little children. It doesn't mean 15 and 16-year-old children. This is Little Stars. It's for children 12 and under who have been diagnosed as being on the autism spectrum. Sebastian was not diagnosed as a small child. I wish they would stop disrespecting him that way. If in fact he is with someone else who does not know him well, that would be entirely out of his routine. He could be encouraged in behaviors which he has not engaged in before. He could be looking for an escape, a way to get out of those adverse situations, Miss Lasky said. She added that not every autistic child will wander, but that 36% of those who are doing so to get away from a stressful or difficult situation. Okay, Sebastian was already known by his mother and stepfather that he was not a wanderer. He was not one to walk away from a situation. His mother said that he would ball up his fists and get a little agitated, but he really didn't act out. He wasn't one to wander off. His father said that he wouldn't go outside barefoot because he stepped on an anthill as a child, and it only took one time, and he wears shoes and socks if he goes out the door. Why would he just all of a sudden disappear in the middle of the night with no shoes and socks on, when he has been wearing shoes and socks nonstop if he goes out the door since he was 8 or 9 years old and he stepped on an anthill? It just doesn't make sense. It just does not make sense to me at all. Watch Sebastian's father ask for the world to help him find himself. We saw that little clip. What are law enforcement doing? Okay, here's the Amber Alert. In the latest update on February 22nd, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation addresses frustrations expressed by some after they scaled back their search. Much of the work being done to track down information about where Sebastian may have gone is not something you will necessarily see in the public. But we want you to know that every day work is being done to find Sebastian, the TBI said in a press release. The Bureau said that it was following up on any tips it received on the case and urged locals to keep on checking their land for signs of the body. Okay, let's see what this has to say.
a start for the search process?
Okay, this says it is, the site was True Crime with Eve. I don't have a link for that. I'm sorry. I didn't know I was going to find it. I had never heard of it until just this very second with you.
Came in at 6:33 this morning. Great, thank you. 12 to any units that are going to be assisting with 1008. Please come to 1008 Stafford Court now, please.
Oh, go ahead.
We have any history of this address?
I am not showing any history in the cab with this address.
Rice, where'd y'all start? Start at the beginning of Kelly Lane 1000. We're going to work our way north up Kelly Lane. You want to take one side of the road, we'll take the other since y'all started there. That's fine. I'll get these two houses right here. Your Facebook page. Post was made 10:23. Check. No motion on camera.
Rental units on Stafford. We've had an additional caller call in that lives in the same area, stating she saw someone that made the description on Hogan's Branch, male with sandy blonde hair, with a bag wrapped around his head. She also stated he had on a reflective jacket approximately 2 hours ago.
12-2-16. Do you have somebody that can respond to that?
10-4. I was out with that subject last night. Blonde with a reflective jacket. He's in his 20s.
You know, if anybody check this one time, we'll be in straight across from the retention pond. That's a camera.
Okay. All right. So we learned a little bit right there. This next, I think we saw this next interview already in the last set of clips, but we'll look at it just to see. I don't want to repeat myself, but
meeting with TBI today. Did you find out any new information?
New information tonight as the search for 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers continues. His mother, father, and stepfather met with the TBI today about the missing teen.
Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller's now live at TBI headquarters over in East Nashville after speaking with all the parents involved.
Yes, that's right. I spoke with Seth Rogers, which is Sebastian's biological father, along with Katie and Chris Proudfoot, which is Sebastian's mother and stepfather, today. Now, they gave us new insights into this investigation after speaking with TBI. We met with Seth Rogers today to get an update on the investigation. You, Katie, and Chris had a meeting with TBI today. Did you find out any new information?
Not that I can discuss.
Rogers says he still has hope that his son is alive. A concern Seth did raise is he recently found out DCS has been called to Katie and Chris Proudfoot's home in Hendersonville.
That somebody somewhere dropped the ball because I was never informed. And I'm the biological father. I have joint physical custody.
Sebastian's stepfather, Chris Proudfoot, confirmed with us that DCS has been called to their home before, but adds all those cases are closed. He says the only active case with DCS is his missing case. Fox 17 News reached out to DCS for more information on these previous cases, but we have not heard back yet. I then asked Seth if any of the three parents are being investigated as potential suspects.
The investigation is still ongoing. We wouldn't be cleared until the investigation is done. But currently, from my understanding, they don't have any information that would attach us to any wrongdoing.
Katie and Chris Proudfoot left their home in Hendersonville for a few days. It mentioned on Fox and Friends this morning why.
There were quite a bit of people that were, sending some very threatening and hateful messages to us. They're following us. They're driving past our house all hours of day and night.
Katie says they're posting flyers all around the state. And Seth says that he's wearing his own billboard of Sebastian, all in hopes of bringing him home. The United Cajun Navy says that they can always use more volunteers. You can show up any morning at 10 a.m. at 90 Volunteer Drive in Hendersonville. Reporting live from East Nashville, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Our road floods.
Okay. That was insightful. We learned a little bit there. All right. I only have 4 more pages to look at, and then I'm going to end the stream here. And I will try tomorrow to get more information because as far as I can go right now is to April 17th. And so we're February 26th, February, March, and April. So we're like a month and a half in. Okay, so let's search. Let's go here. I have more up here on my screen than I have on my screen up here. So I don't know what's going on. Okay, this says, search for missing teen Sebastian Rogers called off after receiving threats. I think we've already talked about this. This is March the 29th, Nashville, Tennessee. This is also kwach.com, Channel 12 News. The link is in the description. Nashville, Tennessee, a rescue team helping to find Sebastian Rogers called off its search Friday after increasing security search. The United Cajun Navy told WSMV that volunteers received death threats online and in person. This decision was not taken lightly and is made with the safety of all volunteers in mind. We want to thank all the volunteers that plan to be out searching with us today. The United Cajun Navy shared, we are very grateful. Despite stopping Friday's search, the team said they will continue to evaluate the situation and support ongoing efforts. This does not mean the search is over, the group added. Rogers, who has autism, again, diagnosed 7 months before, has been missing since February 26th. Okay, and that tells the copyright. Okay, now our next page is Chief Deputy Craddock finally speaking up about the case. Let's see. Sebastian Rogers officials not ruling anything out in search for missing teen. If it'll come up. I got the spinning wheel of death. The spinning wheel of death right there.
And I'm the Chief Deputy at the Sumner County Sheriff's Office. I'll be joined today by Susan Nyland, SUSAN-NILAND, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. She's the PI. I also have with me Sumner County Emergency Management Director Ken Widener, KenWeidner. You guys ready? All right. Good morning. I'm Eric Craddock with Sumner County Sheriff's Office, and we're going to come to you today with an update on the Sebastian Rogers case. Sebastian has been missing since late February. The community is deeply saddened by what has occurred. We're all extremely concerned for Sebastian's welfare. I want to encourage the community to stay vigilant, to report anything that they think may be of some significance to the investigation, no matter how minute it may appear to be to you. Please call 1-800-TBI-FIND with any tips, or the Sumner County Emergency Communications Center at 615-451-3838. We understand the anxiety and the concern that this case has caused in the community. We too share the anxiety and concern for Sebastian. I want to reiterate that we are doing everything we can to find Sebastian and bring him home. Despite the passage of time, the commitment to finding Sebastian remains unwavering. I said this when we scaled the search back. Our commitment to finding Sebastian remains. We will continue to investigate every possible lead that comes in. The Sumner County Sheriff's Office wants to express our gratitude to the community and the many individuals who have helped in the search, the many individuals who have called in tips, the many individuals who have printed flyers and kept Sebastian's face in the news.
Okay.
Nothing would make me happier than to wake up tomorrow morning with a tip that cracks this case wide open. And we find
That's the
Sebastian.
loudest I can get it. It's very
This time I'll turn
quiet.
it over to Susan Allen.
Let me turn off this.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for being here. We know how invested
Is that a
everybody
little better,
in
Karen?
the search for Sebastian, in finding out what happened to him and bringing him home. And we want to let everybody know he has not been forgotten. Nobody's forgotten about him. Nobody has given up looking for him. At the beginning of this investigation, there was a large land search for him. It was very visible. There were also waterways, lakes, ponds that were searched. There were aerial searches with helicopters and drones and fixed wing planes. They were done at night. They were done on weekends. They were done during the day. That was very visible, and it was something everybody was able to see. But we want to let you know that even though there is not that high visibility in investigating this case, that we are not done. It's gone back to what could be considered good old-fashioned police work. Interviewing individuals, re-interviewing individuals, checking out leads, rechecking leads. We have been working with other law enforcement agencies who have had, in other jurisdictions, who have perhaps had some complex cases of their own that they have worked on to get tips from them. We have had, this day of technology with everyone having cell phones and doorbells and ring bells and surveillance cameras. That, as you can imagine, has been a bit of a chore to be able to collect all those and then review them. It's important so we know what's out there. We have been reviewing that, reviewing it again. We have had...
That is the absolute loudest my computer will go. It's always up at 100%, and that's the loudest that the volume on their channel will go. And my microphone is laying on my speaker. I wish there was a way I could get it louder.
Other agencies involved. The FBI has been helpful in that. Secret Service has also been helpful in that. So we are just trying to do whatever we can to advance the investigation. It has not gone to a place where anybody has forgotten about him.
You're
or
very
is
welcome.
Not pursuing this. The parents have been cooperative throughout. At the beginning of the investigation, they have pretty much done whatever law enforcement has asked of them. At this point, we don't have any evidence. There is not any kind of an indication that there is a criminal element involved. But we are keeping options open. We don't know what has happened. We don't know where Sebastian is right now. So we are pursuing any and all avenues. We do want to caution there are some social media elements out there who purport to have information that is direct from the investigation. I just want to reiterate that is not the case. Some of the information that is being provided on some of the social media channels is inaccurate, incomplete.
Okay.
It's taking away time and effort from what the agencies need to be doing as far as looking for Sebastian. We have had so far, as of this morning, 314 tips that have come in through the tip line. It's been mentioned, but I'll say it again. It's 1-800-TBI-FIND. We are also taking tips through email, which is tips to TBI, TBI, at tbi.tn.gov. what's next? We want people, as Chief Deputy said, to continue to remain vigilant, get vigilant, get Sebastian's picture out there, continue to share his picture, his about keeping his name in the public's eye. That's really important. And thank you for your diligence in providing that information out there. And as Chief Deputy said, we also want to thank the community from the very.
In 10 short days, it will be 1 year since this young man went missing. If you're a praying person, please let's pray for the family of Sebastian Rogers.
First day, everybody has really been all in as far as whatever they can do to help in the search, to help pass information on, providing water for the teams that were out conducting the ground search.
The weather is rolling in. We've got time for some questions. So, yes, ma'am. There is no.
Okay, she asked if there has been any indication at this point of foul play.
No evidence to support foul play is involved in the disappearance of Sebastian.
At this point, you don't rule it out.
We're not ruling anything out.
So 5 weeks, and you guys covered so much ground, searching, going back, researching, checked out every case of a possible sighting, nothing confirmed, not a trace of Sebastian anywhere, nothing found.
He said 5 weeks, you've searched everywhere, and there's been not a trace.
Video, nothing.
Nothing that is taking us to locate Sebastian.
And are there any working theories?
We come up with theories almost daily and try and investigate and make sure that we're doing everything we can.
He asked if there are any working theories, and Craddock said that they come up with theories almost daily, and they're trying to work through each theory as it comes up.
To find Sebastian.
Share any of those?
No, sir.
Two questions. Have you ruled out Sebastian's mom's and stepdad's involvement in this case? And as a follow-up, have you cleared their alibi?
I think the TBI said it best. They've been nothing but cooperative with law enforcement since day one of this investigation.
Okay, he asked if they've ruled out Sebastian's mom and stepdad. Are they suspect? And Craddock said that TBI said they've been nothing but cooperative. So he didn't answer the question. To me, that is clue number one. I am going to write that down. Give me 1 second. Okay. And that was at timestamp number 934 on the authorities discuss search video. Okay, I'm trying to put together another timeline for another theory in my brain. So I'm writing things down so I can know where to go back and research.
There is no evidence to support foul play on the part of Sebastian's parents. No, sir.
You mentioned.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that question.
We've heard some rumors that the receipt has some validity, that there was glasses found within the past few days. Can you confirm that?
There were some glasses found in the past few days.
Have you been able to identify if they were Sebastian's?
We are still investigating.
Okay, he asked about Sebastian, the glasses, and he said they're still investigating. We will find out later that they were supposedly not Sebastian's.
And on the Cajun Navy, have you found how is that coordination happening? Have you found they're helpful, I guess, working in unison or separate teams?
The Cajun Navy is operating independently. They have not reached out to us.
have you found their investigation or their work helpful, or has it been one of the distractions that has been mentioned?
One of the things that I really appreciate they've done is print flyers and keep Sebastian's face out there. It's my hope that one day somebody sees something and calls in and this case breaks wide open and we find Sebastian.
He was asking about the Cajun Navy and have they found them helpful? And he said the Cajun Navy is not reaching out to them. They're working independent. And then he said that what they found is helpful from them is that they're putting out flyers.
They claim they received threats. To your knowledge, have they filed any police reports or reports to the sheriff's department documenting any of these alleged threats?
No, sir.
Okay. Somebody asked about the Cajun Navy receiving threats, and Craddock said that at this point they have not reached out to law enforcement.
They would have to call the police and report them.
Where's the search go from here? It's been 5 weeks, there's been no signs. Do you believe he's still alive? And what are you guys going to continue working on?
My hope and prayer is that Sebastian is still alive. Yes.
Okay, he asked where does the search go from here? Do they believe he's still alive? And Craddock said his hope and prayer is that he's still alive. Craddock knows exactly where it is at. I would like to know how long law enforcement interrogated CP and KP in the beginning, and if they have brought them in recently, I hope they question them further. It's been a year now. Karen, I 100% agree with you. To the best of my knowledge, I have not yet heard anything about them interrogating CP and KP. What I do know is from what Seth Rogers stated was that they fumbled up the thing in the very beginning. They should have removed Katie Proudfoot and all family who had come to help her, supposedly help her. They should have removed everybody from the house so that they could search the house. They should have yellow taped off the house. This is a crime scene. There's a missing child here. We need luminol. We need all them chemicals we can spray all over the house. We don't need 15 different people walking through this child's bedroom, getting in the way, traipsing over his scent or touching things that might have his fingerprints or somebody else's fingerprints. They fumbled up, in my opinion, day one, morning one. And the only reason I know that is because Seth Rogers works with law enforcement. He is a deputized law enforcement officer. He's not a police officer, but he is a law enforcement deputy. And he said that their house was handled totally wrong. He was able to walk right into that house and not be asked one time from any member of law enforcement who he was or why he was there. Excuse me. Let's see if Craddock has anything else to say.
We're going to continue to work on this investigation, follow up every tip and lead that comes in. Some of this may revert back to us going over some things that we've already done for the 6th, 7th, or 8th time. A fresh set of eyes never hurt anything. We're going to continue to work to find Sebastian.
Have the stories been changing at all? Have you been talking with people and you're reading them for a second time possibly?
There is no evidence to support foul play.
Are there any active current leads that you guys are pursuing?
We have tips called in daily.
Any of those tips seem legitimate enough to expand law enforcement resources?
Regardless of their legitimacy, we're going to follow up on them.
Will there be any other agencies pulled in to help in the search efforts for this case?
I'm certain there will be.
You met with the biological father and mother this past week. Is that at their request?
Karen, she says Ellie had to have CPS reports from the start to be suspicious. I know that the day he went missing, they started a CPS report, but I don't think they found out about the other CPS reports until after Seth got an attorney to find out that there were actually 7 CPS reports against Chris Proudfoot, because Seth didn't even know until his attorney found out.
That was at the request of law enforcement. It's not uncommon to talk to the family in investigations like this. I've got time for one more question.
Just overall, how has this investigation impacted the morale at your department, especially with all this scrutiny going on?
The question was, overall, how has the investigation gone?
Put it to you like this. If my kid was missing, this is the team I'd want on. The men and women of the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, of the Tennessee Bureau of Investigations, the FBI partners, the other local agencies, the Secret Service, everyone who's had a hand in this case is doing everything they can to find Sebastian. Morale's high. We are here and we are dedicated.
Okay, he said if his child was missing, Sumner County Sheriff's Department would be the team that he would want looking for his child. I guess he wouldn't want his child back. That's just my opinion. That is just my opinion. Because if you can be paid by the family that helped this child go missing, if you can be paid not to say anything and not to search for him and not to go get him and not to bring him home, that's not who I want. That's not who I want. Okay, this next one I'm going to show is from Nancy Grace, and it's her talking about something I did not know about Sebastian. It's new news to me. If it'll play.
Big thank you to our partner making today's crime stories possible. It's LifeLock. It's tax season, and by now we're all or visit dexcom.com/ for being with us here at Crime Stories as we continue.
I have
not.
And parents can rest easy risk-free today at greenlight.com/iHeart.
Crime Stories with Nancy Grace. In the last hours, the bio dad and grandparents of missing autistic boy Sebastian Rogers hold a vigil where everyone vows that Sebastian will be brought home safe and sound. Will he? I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. Thank you for being with us here at Crime Stories as we continue joining in the search for Sebastian. First of all, take a listen to this. Have the two of you taken a polygraph?
I have.
I have not.
Would you be willing to?
I've offered and volunteered on many occasions to take a polygraph, and I was told directly by law enforcement because of my whereabouts, I did not need one.
We don't know his whereabouts. We just know what he said is his whereabouts. Chris Proudfoot, you need a lie detector.
I understand. Ms. Proudfoot, did you pass your polygraph?
I did.
That's not exactly what has been stated before by Sebastian Rogers' stepfather, Mr. Proudfoot. Listen, and Mr. Proudfoot, you have volunteered to take a poly? If I were to set up a poly for you, would you take it?
Name the place and time, ma'am. I'll be there.
Joining me in All-Star panel to make sense of what we're hearing right now. But first to Dave Mack, crimeonline.com investigative reporter. Dave Mack, isn't it true that crimeonline.com did set up a polygraph?
Absolutely true.
And what happened?
Chris Proudfoot told us that he could not take it now. He wanted to, but he can't because the TBI told him not to.
It's my understanding to Cheryl McCollum joining us. Cheryl McCollum, founder and director of the Cold Case Research Institute, forensics expert, and host of Zone 7 podcast. Cheryl, it's my understanding that specifically Sebastian's stepfather said he could no longer do interviews, including with us, because he had been instructed so by the TBI. And Jackie, correct me if I'm wrong, that they did not want any of his interviews to interfere with the investigation. And that even though he had agreed to do our polygraph,
right,
he now says that the TBI is going to set up their own polygraph and he can't take our polygraph until after that. And once he does that, then, quote, we'll take it from there. What do you make of it?
You know, you and I always go back to Mark Class. If you want to make sure that the law enforcement has everything they need to get rid of looking at you, you can do that. He can set up a private polygraph through an attorney. He can take yours. He can demand that TBI give him one so that they can stop focusing on him and this polygraph business and move on and find out where Sebastian is at, period.
I mean, Cheryl McCollum, you and I can go right now and pay for a polygraph. They'd be happy to take our money. Hey, just put it on a credit card and take a polygraph.
And here's the other, TBI would be happy to accept those results. A polygraph is a polygraph is a polygraph. And the examiner, that's who you're relying on. So you've got somebody that's going to be willing to testify and put their reputation on the line. Again, he could make this happen today if he wanted to.
Let's go straight out to Joseph Scott Morgan, professor of forensics, Jacksonville State University, author of Blood Beneath My Feet on Amazon, and star of a hit series, Body Bags with Joe Scott Morgan. Joe Scott, thank you for being with us. You know what? This is like static in my ears because I know tick tock, tick tock. As long as we focus on the stepfather and the mother, Mr. and Mrs. Proudfoot, I'm losing time. If by some stretch of the imagination, Sebastian is still alive, if he's alive, he won't be much longer. What do the stats show? What is your opinion? I need it, and I need it now, Joe Scott.
Yeah, the biggest thing that we're looking at is this idea of time. We're talking about a young man that went missing back in February, Nancy, late February. And as we move down that timeline, the odds are stacked against him. I think one of the most important pieces that's kind of arisen out of this, other than all of the comments that have been made to this point relative to polygraphs and those sorts of things, are those eyeglasses. And I love the shot the producers put up of him standing in front of that rack of eyeglasses, because that's going to tell the tale, I think. If they can specifically tie those to him, that's very important. They can take that script off of those glasses, determine
I don't think they're his glasses, Joe Scott. I don't think they're his glasses.
Well, at this point in time, you have to work with what you have. If they're not his, then that points us down a different road, doesn't it?
Let's go with they're not his glasses. And I'll tell you why I'm saying that, Joe Scott. I was thrilled. I mean, you may want to jump in on this, Cheryl. Remember, we're not having high tea at Windsor Castle, but it's a sad day when you're excited, when you're thrilled, you think you find a missing boy's glasses. Why was I thrilled? Because it was a clue for a moment. And then the TBI confirmed they're not his glasses. So I see where you're going, Joe Scott, but it's a sad day when we're all thrilled to find a pair of beat up glasses on the side of the road. But I was. So where does that leave me, Joe Scott, as we're all like, take a poly, take a poly. Why won't he take a poly? What really happened? Was he at work? Was he not at work? While we're all gnashing our teeth and switching our tails trying to figure out about Mr. Proudfoot, if this kid, this child is out there with his autism kicking in, giving him problems, what's going to happen? The likely scenario, Joe Scott, as we're spinning our wheels on Proudfoot.
Yeah, if this is, we're talking about Hendersonville, Tennessee, Nancy, which is 10 miles outside of Nashville. But, really quickly up there, that area becomes very rural. And so if he has wandered off or been taken off in any number of directions, his ability or survivability is greatly diminished here. And what the police are doing right now is, if you think about the last known location of him, that's the center of the target. And they're working from concentrically to eccentrically. They're moving out in these big circles, but it's such a broad, densely wooded area. This is a Herculean task, to say the least. I think that some of the answers are going to rest in the idea that whoever had control over him, his comings and goings, we're talking about a kid that has been diagnosed with autism, whoever had control over his comings and goings, their electronics need to be tracked, Nancy. Those ideas of where did they go at those times when he was last seen alive.
That would be Katie Proudfoot. She's the only one that was with him, according to them. So she would be the only one who would have, and that was why I come up with the theory of burner phones. I'm serious. I think Chris Proudfoot was on a three-way call. He had his cell phone in Memphis, sitting in his trailer, linked to the call, where he had a burner phone, and he was talking to Katie on the burner phone and his cell phone at the same time while he was driving to Hendersonville to do whatever they did to Sebastian. That's my theory. That's my opinion. I'm entitled to my opinion.
And that's going to be one of the threads that you're going to want to pull in this investigation.
Cheryl McCollum, host of Zone 7, is a forensic expert, as you know, Joe Scott Morgan, death investigator. Cheryl, you've had quite a lot to say online. What about now? Cat got your tongue? Because I don't like that.
No.
You're pretty bold when nobody's questioning you.
No.
But what about now? I want to hear your analysis.
Here's my problem. They're statements. You've got inconsistencies. As soon as somebody changes their story at all, they should become the focus, period.
Amen.
Mom has said different things. Now you've got a stepdad that looks like he's co-signing with everything that she says, but he allegedly wasn't there. So how can he agree with anything that she's saying? You've got mom saying she heard a thud. I don't like that word. That sounds like a body hitting the floor. If you can use the word thud, that's not, sounded like he hit the wall, sounded like something dropped.
No, it's never a good thing. It's usually preceded by an adjective, sickening, a sickening thud.
Right. And Nancy, you've got other things. You've got mom saying he went to the end of the driveway to put out the trash. And then you've got law enforcement searching a landfill. They're searching lakes. They're searching ponds. If you're watching and paying attention to law enforcement, it does not seem to me that they are looking to recover a child alive.
Amen.
They are searching for remains. You and I both know, and Joe Scott knows, when a child goes missing, the first 3 hours are critical. We're at 6 weeks. 6 weeks that this child has not been seen or heard from.
The first 3 hours are critical, and it was over 3 hours before they reported him missing.
Okay, hold on. Why are you saying, Cheryl McCollum, that you believe they don't expect to find Sebastian alive based on their actions? I'm talking about LA law enforcement.
they're searches. They're searching landfills, lakes, ponds. That is not indicative of somebody that is alive. And again, you've got a child that has gone 6 weeks without his medicine, 6 weeks without food that we know of. He didn't have a source, no shoes. And mama herself says, oh, a flashlight's missing. Again, that's such an odd thing for her to know is missing until they show her video that looks like a flashlight. And then the stepdad says, well, we were sure hoping it was, but we're sad to report it wasn't a flashlight. Well, if you've got 2 flashlights out there, why are you glad that it's not that? That to me would signify that somebody was out there in the wee hours of the morning with 2 flashlights, meaning 2 separate people, the night your child went missing.
I agree.
I mean, it's just odd.
Big thank you to our partner making today's crime stories possible. It's Grand Canyon University, being our partner.
Now I'd like to introduce you to Meaningful Beauty, the famed skin.
You don't go check on him at all. You know,
subscribe today and you can get the.
What do you make of a 3-hour conversation held between Mrs. Proudfoot and Mr. Proudfoot the night Sebastian disappears?
The 3-hour phone call bothers me because, again, that's a long time to be on the phone. And, you know, you're hearing your son supposedly, he's answering you supposedly during that time, but you don't go check on him at all. You know, did somebody leave their phone just on while they went and did something else? I don't know.
What did I say?
But I agree with Joe Scott. The electronics are going to tell the story. When his mama first entertained the idea that somebody had him, what did she base that on? His phone's not missing. He didn't take shoes, didn't take clothes, didn't take money, nothing on his cell phone, nothing on his computer says that he's been talking to anybody. I mean, she's entertaining something that we have no facts for. We have no.
Well, I'm concerned about the, and you're right. Whenever I hear inconsistent statements, as I've discussed many, many times in front of juries, it's one thing to add or embellish your original statement because maybe you weren't asked the right questions first time around. Maybe you remembered something in addition, triggered by questions. But when you change your story, that's a problem. To Joe Scott Morgan joining us, professor at Jacksonville State University. Joe Scott, let's look at where the searches are being conducted. Yeah. We know the law enforcement search has been scaled back. I want to hear, since you are a death investigator, we all three have been on many, many searches for missing people and who we believe to be dead. I want to hear your analysis. What can we glean from looking at what law enforcement is doing?
Back to Cheryl's point about landfills and ponds. Ponds are water, bodies of water. You can think that, well, you have people that can just wander into these locations, okay? Particularly somebody that might be in a compromised state, like this young man, from a mental and a physical status at this point in time. But when you start to talk about landfills, Nancy, this is a rather dark thing. I've been to landfills multiple times conducting death investigations, and those are locations where we're talking about the discarding of remains. Now, here's another interesting point. The fact that the landfill is all the way up in Kentucky.
You mean he didn't just walk into a landfill and fall over?
No, and certainly not in Kentucky. This is specifically targeted. Now, from my understanding is that landfill is used to serve this particular area. And landfills are very complex environments. They're gridded off. Essentially, they know where they're going to do dumpings. It's not like they randomly go into these locations and just back the truck up. They go to specific locations. But with landfills, they're highly complex. They're layered. And so as you begin to stack items in there, they then run over them with this heavy equipment. And it makes the going very, very tough. As a matter of fact, anything that gets in there begins to degrade and decompose very quickly. That's the purpose of it. And so that is not a good sign, Nancy.
And they only searched that landfill for 1 day. In the Quentin Simon case, they searched that landfill for 2 weeks. to find Quentin Simon's body. The few small pieces of his body that they were able to find. After 2 weeks, they searched for 1 day for Sebastian.
And the fact that they are searching a landfill is rather ominous to me.
To
Nancy, I
Dave
want to jump
Mack,
in here
Crime
real quick.
Online.
I don't want to be rude.
No, I was just coming to you because I wanted to talk to you, Dave Mack, on 2 issues and whatever else you want to interject. Right. Please, I need everybody's thoughts. One, I want to get from you any previous inconsistent statements as correctly stated by Cheryl McCollum, and 2, allegations that Sebastian, this autistic boy, was molested have emerged. Let's start with the inconsistent statements very quickly.
From the very beginning, Nancy, Chris Proudfoot made statements in interviews online claiming, he actually said, somebody asked the question, was a polygraph taken and has it been passed? Yes, I didn't specify who or when, but what I can tell you, everything has been vetted completely. Polygraphs have come back as passed. So I'm confused as in why they are all wondering if myself, my wife, and the biological father took. Okay, we know that's a lie. We know that is absolutely a lie because of what he told you on your show.
Wait, you're
sorry. That was when he was on, was it Smiley Stories World? Or was it the other one? Chris Proudfoot had been on. I didn't know when this actually took place, so I'm out of order. This is way after April apparently. But I did see that he was on, and we'll get there soon, but not today. But I did say where he was on a channel, and they were asked about polygraphs, and it might have been Terry Lynn's channel. Okay, I'm not. Don't quote me on that because I don't know for a fact. But he did say polygraphs have been taken, and he did say polygraphs have been passed. Then he turned, because they were asking if he had taken them. Then later he come back and he said, I didn't say who or when. At that point, Seth hadn't even taken a polygraph, and to my best of my knowledge, there's no reason for Seth to ever take one, but he did. So, yeah, no, I don't trust a word coming out of Chris Proudfoot's mouth.
You're saying that that's what Proudfoot said, that he had taken a polygraph,
word for
he
word,
and his wife, and had been, quote, vetted. Okay. Yes, he did say that on a podcast. Go ahead.
Okay, and then we also have the belt. You know, we have hitting Sebastian with the belt. I don't know if you caught this, but you know, when Seth Rogers was on your show last week, when we were talking about the belt, he started crying. I saw later Seth referred to it as he wasn't aware of the corporal punishment that Chris Proudfoot was handing out to his son, to Seth Rogers' autistic son. And, you know, we pointed out that Proudfoot claimed it was years ago and it was one spank with the belt on his butt, but through clothing, which makes no sense to any parent in the history of mankind or any teacher at school that they would actually look into something through clothing like that. But they couldn't remember when, how long ago it was. And in another interview, he said 15, which means it had to have been in the last several months. So we've got a number of serious issues here.
Didn't Sebastian turn 15 in December?
Correct. And
no,
it went missing February 26th.
So if he was 15 when he got a whack with a belt, that would have been in the last few months just before he disappears. So which one is true? Was it 3 years ago, or was it when he was 15 years old? Another question. Allegations that Sebastian was molested have now emerged. What can you tell us?
Sebastian's biological father, Seth Rogers, said that when the Proudfoots, when Katie and Chris Proudfoot and Sebastian were living in an apartment in California several years ago, that Katie Proudfoot allowed a boy that was 5 years older than Sebastian to play with Sebastian, and the boy was 13. Sebastian was 8 at this time. She allowed it. Seth Rogers said that Katie Proudfoot allowed a 13-year-old boy to play with Sebastian, who is 8, without any kind of involvement from Katie Proudfoot, and that during the time this 13-year-old molested and raped Sebastian Rogers.
It seems the more we investigate, the murkier the facts become. This is what I know. Every day, literally every hour that Sebastian Rogers is missing is 1 hour closer to him being dead. Can we tune out all the static and the noise and try to focus on finding this autistic boy? And to you, Mr. Proudfoot, our offer is still on the table for a polygraph, free of charge to you. I'll pay for it out of my pocket.
Wow. Wow. What do you say about that? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. Now, the last thing I want to discuss before I end my stream, because I've been here for 2 hours now, we're going to talk about, and I know it's going to be a cliffhanger, and I'm sorry. Hopefully you can come back and we'll start part 2. Hopefully I can get enough information researched for tomorrow. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk is going to be the cliffhanger for the end of the conversation for today. And it is that Sebastian Rogers' father hires 2 private investigators, calls for FBI to take over the case. Apparently, he's losing faith in what's going on.
Well, it's been 51 days since 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers went missing from his Sumner County home.
The sheriff's office there telling Fox 17 News they've had no viable leads to finding the boy with autism. And now Sebastian's father is making a public plea for the FBI to take over this case.
There's even a petition now. Fox 17 News' investigative reporter, Kelly Avellino, you've been following this case since the beginning. So what can you share with us this Wednesday morning?
Well, this has been a devastating, traumatic, and certainly frustrating experience for Sebastian's father, Seth Rogers. He has taken off work every single day since Sebastian went missing to help search for him, and still there has been no trace of his son. Sebastian is believed to have walked off from his home in the Shackle Island community of Sumner County in the middle of the night back on February 25th. That, according to his mother and stepfather, Katie and Chris Proudfoot. But now Seth Rogers has launched an online petition calling for the FBI to come in and take the lead on this case and to investigate it as a criminal matter as well. Take a look. Seth Rogers writes here, "We want the FBI to take over the investigation of the case of missing Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers from Sumner County Sheriff's Office. It has been 50 days since Sebastian has gone missing. No scent trail from dogs, no video footage of Sebastian leaving his mother's house, yet no criminal investigation at all by TBI or Sumner County Sheriff's Office." That petition has nearly 12,000 signatures this morning. You can find it on my Facebook page. The Sheriff's Office, TBI, and trained teams from around the state did search a 5-mile radius around Sebastian's home the week after he went missing. They researched that same area earlier this month. Sumner County Chief Deputy Eric Craddock saying there has been no evidence of foul play, but nothing is being ruled out at this point, he says. Now, I checked in with the Sheriff's Office and TBI again yesterday and have not yet heard back. Meantime, I can tell you that volunteer search teams continue to help Seth Rogers canvassing areas in Sumner County outside of that initial 5-mile radius. Erica and Jen?
Our road floods really bad.
New tonight, residents of Cottontown in Sumner County are concerned about flooding over the weekend. They say debris on the banks of Station Camp Creek needs to be cleaned out to prevent a massive flood, but they have not had any luck getting the county to do it. Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar here in studio after speaking with residents.
Okay, that doesn't have anything. The flooding has nothing to do with Sebastian. I was hoping it would lead into them saying that with the flooding, maybe his body turned up or something. Well, at this point, I know that that couldn't have been, so it was kind of wishful thinking. I also thought with all the storms that went through the Carolinas and Florida and Tennessee back in the summer, I thought that Sebastian would have turned up then. I'm thankful that he was not found unalived at the time. But, okay, that brings us to April 17th. So we know that as of April 17th, we don't know a whole lot yet. But Seth is wanting the FBI to take over the case. Thank you, Seth. You're a wonderful man. My heart and prayers go out to you. I hope Sebastian comes home to you soon. I'm sorry that it is so close to being a year since he has gone missing. All right. With that being said, thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of my chat, Karen and April and H. Davis. It has been wonderful to talk to you all in chat. Thank you for being here. Please hit the thumbs up on your way out. Do something nice for someone, even if it's be the reason that they smile today, and get lockered. Have a great day.